Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time on Doctor Who we had Oxygen, where basically the Doctor wanted to go back out into space, and he was talking to Nardole and Bill about this on the TARDIS, and Nardole was like, oh, well, I took the fluid link, so the TARDIS doesn't work. And the Doctor was like, yeah, right, let's go. And then they just left. They left to a space station that didn't have any oxygen, but that was by design because capitalism is now in space, much to the horrors of Tim Curry. And they were basically the crew aboard the space station was being killed because they were not profitable anymore. And then the Doctor figured out that he could tie in their deaths to blowing up the core of the space station. I have to sneeze. So that their deaths actually became more expensive, so they were allowed to live. And then the Doctor took the survivors to the head office to file a complaint. And then, by the way, during all this, the Doctor was blinded by the vacuum of space, and at the end, he's still blind, despite the fact that he said he was okay. He is actually still blind. And Nardole's pissed, kind of understandably, even though, he's like, oh, what if you get hurt or injured after coming home from a mission like this, as if he doesn't risk that all the time, but this time there is the stakes of the vault, so Nardole does still make a good point, but yeah, that's basically that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that most likely this is going to have to be a reaction highlight. I apologize to anyone who can't watch the highlight. I've really, really tried, but sometimes we lose a few, and I'm sorry about that. But if this does have to be a highlight, which I'm going to probably guess it will be, what you're going to have to do is head down in the description or to the pinned comment, click on the link. That will take you over to the reaction. You can watch it just like any other reaction, and when you're done with that, you can pop right back over here to this YouTube video for the discussion. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Doctor Who. Here we go.
We're proud to serve as executioners to every living thing.
Okay.
The destruction of a Time Lord, however, is a particular honor.
Following termination, the body will be placed in a quantum fold chamber.
This is not for him, though.
For no less than 1,000 years.
Is that the sentence must be carried out by another Time Lord.
Oh.
Doctor.
Hey, girl.
You.
Been a while.
Thought you'd retired. Domestic bliss on Beryllium. That's the word among the Daleks.
Yeah.
What happened?
The Daleks are gossiping.
My condolences.
Yeah. Aw. Well, thanks. Now, she has to know that this ain't gonna do anything to him.
The prison.
She's being executed. Okay.
They can't know I'm blind, Missy. No one can know. Memories are so much worse in the dark.
So it is her in there. Okay. Okay, Missy's in there.
Quantum fold chamber is prepared.
Great.
The sentence will be carried out.
That's why he's guarding the vault, in case she comes back, I guess. Okay, I have 20 questions and maybe one answer? I guess it's still unconfirmed if Missy's in the vault. It's pretty positive, but, we'll give it a 95,
Good evening, Doctor.
So he can use the sonic shades as a form of
We
sight.
have come here today, direct from the Vatican.
All right. That's
The
nice.
Vatican?
Well,
As you can see, this is a personal recommendation of Pope Benedict IX
Oh.
in 1045.
Ah.
well, if he's so keen to talk to me, why didn't he just come here himself?
He is here. He's standing right in front of us.
Oh. The Pope is here.
Everyone who worked on the translation and everyone who subsequently read it is now dead.
Oh no. It's like trying to paint the Egyptian god cards.
By their own hand. Will you read the Veritas?
That's a bit extreme.
Did you bring someone home? Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Grown up, I can do that, can't I?
Of course not. I have very strict rules about men.
Probably not as strict as mine.
Yeah. Do you not know, ma'am? It's a...
Here's me thinking that she dragged some poor, terrified man home.
Well,
Nah.
phew. Oh, phew.
Yeah.
Right, you two. I'm off to the pub. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Well. Okay. Oh, God. This date's gonna get interrupted by the doctor. Yep.
Ma cosa sta succedendo? Chi siete voi due ragazze? Come mai sono finito qui in questa casa?
Not exactly the person you want to walk in.
Questa è una
Ever.
pazzia.
That was the Pope. Bill, that was the Pope.
There's no any way to explain that.
I'm about to have...
Divine intervention, therefore, is permitted for a maximum of 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's how long you have.
Executioner may now...
How the hell did you get here?
Followed you from Derillium on the explicit orders of your late wife, River Song.
Okay.
Warning, I have full permission to kick your ass.
That makes sense. So this is just after Derillium. This is how they kept each other, I guess. Ooh. Whoa, it's like the Belmont Hold. This is so cool.
The Library of Blasphemy. The Hereticum.
Ah, okay.
Harry Potter.
Language.
They don't like that.
Knock yourself out. Actually, do that. Knock yourself right out.
I mean, that's the thing. She has been executed before. She probably doesn't want to go through it again.
I'll
But
be good. I promise.
she can survive it.
I'll turn good, please. Teach me how to be good.
Aww.
Without hope. Without witness. Without reward.
That wouldn't work on her.
Because 4 hours ago, someone, that priest presumably, emailed them a copy of the Veritas translation from this computer.
Remember what he
Huh.
said? He said, I sent it.
Oh, okay. He sent the
He sent
translation.
Veritas.
If you saw information, he's about 50 feet that way.
Are you trying to get rid of us?
Why?
Because you're sending us into the dark after a man with a gun.
Ah, well, I thought of that.
Thank you.
Now, Dale, make sure that you walk in front of Bill.
Oh,
Duh.
right.
You gonna read this?
You are the robot, man. He can
Is that what I
repair
sent
you.
myself?
Okay, Bill. Miss Potts. I'm the only person you've ever met or will ever meet who is officially licensed to kick the doctor's ass. I will happily do the same to you.
Well, the only
if ever
person
you do not
licensed.
align yourself with any instructions I have issued, which I personally judge to be in the best interests of your safety and survival. Okay, Bill?
Okay.
All right.
Oh!
That was pretty good.
Are you secretly a badass?
Nothing secret about it, baby doll.
Either it's going to temporarily fix my eyesight, or it's going to burn out my brain.
No. Oh, man. She's dead.
Here's a little lesson in trickery.
I will guard this body for 1,000 years.
Okay. That's... Whoa, the Pentagon. Wait a minute.
Do you have clearance for floor 3?
Floor 3 of what?
Of what?
The Pentagon.
The Pentagon.
Yeah, totally. Back into the portal. Okay, that was just a portal. There's a bunch of
So the
them.
Pentagon is through there.
Yeah.
Pentagon, but that's alright. Well, it restored your sight, but do you need glasses on top of that?
I just borrowed from my future. I get a few minutes of proper eyesight, but I lose something.
What?
Maybe all my future regenerations will be blind.
Oh no!
Maybe I won't regenerate.
Ah!
Oh, it's the old story.
Nah.
It never looks so good in the morning.
Yeah. You can see me when I wake up.
Goodbye.
5 minutes. That's orders, please.
5 minutes, that's how long you have. Okay, so these people, they're gonna read the Veritas and they're all expecting to die in 5 minutes. Or they have bombs. Okay. Does it still kill to read the translation? Ah, his eyesight. He's running out.
No, no.
36.
Okay, that was weird.
Try again.
They're all projected. The Pentagon, the Vatican,
Oh.
CERN.
They're not real.
No, they're holograms. They're holographic simulations, and the people in them too.
Okay.
What? You know,
Well,
like
we
the
went
holodeck
in.
on Star Trek or a really posh VR without a headset. Through there, those places, that's basically Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
It can't be. Oh,
Oh.
I'm part of it. I'm part of the simulation. Bill, I'm not real.
Well then, what are you doing? Get back!
No!
Okay, don't go there.
Bill, is that you?
Oh. This is the White House.
Is that the president?
It was.
That is not Donald Trump.
The Veritas tells of an evil demon who wants to conquer the world.
Uh-huh.
But to do it, he needs to learn about it first. So he creates a shadow world.
Okay.
A world for him to practice conquering.
Interesting.
If you ask a computer-simulated person to generate a random string of numbers, it won't truly be random. If all the simulated people are part of the same computer program, then they'll all generate the same string.
Okay.
The exact same numbers.
So...
Numbers?
It's like, Super Mario. Figuring out what's going on. Deleting himself from the game. Because he's sick of dying.
That is an interesting metaphor, Doctor.
I'm real. I feel real.
So they aren't...
Happening to you.
Save me.
That's what happened to... Oh, shit. That's what happened to Nardole.
You are not the Doctor. You are not real. You don't have to be real to be the Doctor. As long as you never give up.
You just made your worst enemy.
No. There's always one thing you can do from inside a computer. Email. I'm doing what everybody does when the world is in danger. I'm calling the Doctor. Pressing send.
He's sending his memories to the Doctor. And now he knows.
Are you on a date?
No.
Okay, good.
I think I'd kind of notice.
What about Penny? Do you know a girl called Penny?
Well, yeah.
What's she like?
Out of my league.
No.
Sorry, what? No.
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 I mean, no.
Oi, get off!
You will not leave this planet alive.
Do me a favor. The fatality index. Look up the Doctor.
You have an entry. You do seem to have an impressive record of fatalities credited to you.
Yeah.
You are unarmed.
Always.
Yeah. It's the first thing you notice about the Doctor of War.
How can I save them? Well, I'm lost in the dark.
Okay. Whew. That... Wow, that was a... It's a bit of a complicated episode. I'm glad for a part one. Like, halfway through, I was like, there is no way this is not a part one. Like, this is totally and completely a part one. And sure enough, but I'm glad that for a part one, we got enough answers to where I can be like, okay, you know, okay, we're cool. Like, I understand what's going on, you know? I'm kind of... I guess I'm left with more answers than questions, per se. Kind of. I guess I'm left with like the normal amount of questions for a Doctor Who 2-parter, but this, but this answered enough questions where I don't know, like I'm just glad, I'm glad that I have as many answers as I do, and there's enough questions for next episode, if that makes any sense, So. Very interesting episode. Very, very interesting episode. I really, really did enjoy it. And hey, it only took 6 episodes to figure out what's in the vault. So, that's good. We don't have to wait until the end of the season, what's behind the door and stuff. Like, no, it was Missy. Okay, cool. You will probably have noticed, unless you were watching on full length, then I guess you might not have noticed, but I did turn on the subtitles during the episode, because, man, those cardinals and the Pope, they were kind of hard to understand, so I hope that the subtitles weren't too intrusive during the reaction itself. But yeah. Okay. Wow, okay, This honestly, like, it kind of felt like an Indiana Jones movie where it's like, here's all this stuff that's happening. We have to go to this special place to get the information. Like, it kind of felt like Last Crusade a bit. So, but obviously with its own Doctor Who flair. So, I do like that, And it's just interesting, like, wow, okay, the Pope. Like, let's get the Pope in on this. Like, okay, interesting. Like the actual Pope was there. Now, okay, this is 2017, isn't it? I'm pretty sure by 2017, Pope Francis was the Pope. And obviously by 2017, Donald Trump was the President of the United States. They were not even trying with those two. It's like, no, we're not doing this like, how they did Obama, where it's like, oh, here's this, one actor that we're filming from behind, and we're just playing clips of Obama's voiceover. Like, no, that was very clearly not Trump and not Pope Francis, but that's okay. Actually, okay, the guy that played the Pope, he actually did kind of look familiar. Have I seen this guy before? I think I have. Okay, so he's in Spider-Man Far From Home. Can't think of what character he played, though. Is that it? Can I not? Okay. Well, he definitely looks familiar. I can't place, like, where I've seen him. But, like, as I was looking at it, I was like, I swear I've seen this guy in, like, 3 movies before. So, what time is it? Okay, it's 10:30. Today is November the 4th, so, actually, I'm about to post the last Doctor Who episode. It's not going to happen in this video, because it's not going to happen for another hour and a half, but yeah. Also, it is interesting to be sitting here. It's like, oh yeah, there's the President of the United States, and it's like that they clearly did not try to make that guy look like Donald Trump. It's like, okay, that's just a president. No one cares. But I'm currently sitting here recording this, and as far as I know right now, the election in the U.S. is still undecided. We still don't know who is it going to be. So. Well, maybe this could be like a time capsule of I'm sitting here in a time where I don't know who the next president is going to be. Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Biden? So we'll see. When this episode goes up, it'll probably, even when this episode goes up to Patreon, they'll probably have decided the election by then, hopefully. I gotta say, the anxiety's killing me. But that's why I have Doctor Who to give me several thousand questions. So, yeah. But yeah, let's just keep this as a little time capsule of this is where I was when I didn't know who the hell was going to lead the country or whatever the fuck. So, let's talk execution. Man, okay, so I was curious, like, as I was like watching the episode, I was kind of thinking like, okay, so the vault has Missy and she was executed, but she is still alive and stuff in there. Like, you know, he's gone in there and, you know, like, had dinner with her and stuff. And it's like, okay, so something screwy has to happen. Something screwy has to happen with the execution. And honestly, as I was watching, I was like, this doesn't really, like... This doesn't have anything to do with this execution plot line. So I was, like, curious, like, what are we... Like, okay, it's great that we have that, but I was kind of thinking, like, okay, what's the purpose of this? And honestly, even still, like, yeah, we have the whole thing at the end of, like, oh, well, you know, he may need her help and stuff like that, and who knows, maybe she's behind all this, but honestly, yeah, we don't... That honestly doesn't exactly tie in, you know? So, but that also, you know, now we know why obviously Nardole is so insistent on the Doctor remaining on Earth, because yeah, the Doctor has to guard the Master for 1,000 years too, which he hasn't even hit 100 years yet. So, excuse me, he hasn't even hit 100 years yet. So, oh boy. Okay. Man, this was pretty crazy. But yeah, so it was Missy. She was going to be executed, which, I mean, you know, it's like, I understand her being scared about being executed, but there's two things about that. Number one, I understand why she would be, you know, scared of execution, because she has been executed before, you know? That is, you know, kind of, that's the setup for the Eighth Doctor's movie, is that the Master is executed. So I understand that. Also, but on the other hand, you would almost think that it wouldn't be as big of a deal, because she's been executed before and she's clearly come back. She's died multiple times and has come back. She was shot by her own wife and forced herself not to regenerate. And then she came back. You know, the whole thing with the last Master, you know, the John Sim Master. God, I wish they were numbered, because it's, other than Missy, it's hard to distinguish all of them, like, other than just saying, oh, the Roger Delgado Master, the Eric Roberts Master, the you know, the John Sim Master, and now Missy, you know? So that's the thing, like, she has died a lot before and come back, so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if she'd be freaking out this much. But then again, that could have also just been an act. I suppose it could have just been an act, because she probably knew that the Doctor would not execute her, you know? Granted, he didn't stop her last execution, you know, when for some reason she was executed on Skaro. It's complicated. But he probably wouldn't do it himself. Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy that that Missy is in the vault after her execution. So yeah. We had the Pope. That was just interesting, you know. Well, I mean, because we've had, you know, obviously the British government has known about the Doctor for many years. You know, even going back all the way to, like, Queen Victoria and everyone. It's like, you know, Britain has known about the Doctor for a long time. America is a bit different, but to be fair, oh my goodness gracious, these things are a little... Okay, there's kind of like these little loops at the end of my glasses, and they get dirty, so I'm going to clean them out a bit while I talk here. So, the United States hasn't known about the Doctor that much, but now at least they are aware of him because of the whole thing with Nixon. So, it was actually really cool. It was like, oh, hey, here's the Doctor back in the White House again. I don't know why I've taken now to clean my glasses, but yeah. Y'all get to enjoy my my face without glasses. I don't like it. I honestly prefer wearing glasses. I don't think I'm ever going to get contacts. It's not for me. Anyway. So, yeah. The hell was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the British government has known about the Doctor for a while. The U.S. government has known about the Doctor, at least because of Nixon, you know? So there is that. But it's interesting that it's like, oh, the Vatican knows about the Doctor. The Pope knows about the Doctor. Like, I don't know why. There's something about that almost seems like kind of like weirder, you know? It's like, oh man, the Pope knows about the Doctor. I don't know why. I should get like a toothpick or something, because this is not... I gotta be careful. I'm kind of marking up my jeans a little bit. But I mean, it's cool. It's cool when, like, you know, world powers know about the Doctor, because you know, the other thing about the Doctor is that, you know, for all, like, the, you know, the importance they kind of place on the Doctor of, oh, he's like the protector of Earth and all this stuff. I mean, he is just kind of a guy in a box. He's a guy in a box when everything's said and done. He is just a man in a box. You know, he has the whole thing of, I'm the Earth's protector. It just sort of happened, you know, as time went on. He didn't set out to be that. It's not like, you know, he wasn't always destined to be that, or he didn't, like, take up that position officially, like in Dragon Ball or something. So, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. What's the next topic? But the Vatican is also... That's why I put on the subtitles, because their accents... It's not that their accents were particularly thick. I was just having a little bit of a hard time understanding it, so that's why I had to turn the subs on. And then I just left them on, because why not, you know? It was nice. There is a part of me that does want to just turn on subs just for all my reactions. The only thing is, you know, because of how I record, that means subs would stay on all the time. But I do that for, like, my movie reactions and stuff, so I might do that. This is only on one side of my glasses, by the way. This is taking me forever. The Hereticum. The Library of Blasphemy. That sounds so cool. I just want to... I honestly do kind of want to go in there and, like, try to find stuff. Again, it feels like Indiana Jones. It feels like, you know, that's where, you know, Indy and the gang would go to find something about Sir Richard or something. Like, you know, one of the knights with the Holy Grail or whatever. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm starting on the other side. Really should have gone and gotten a toothpick. Ugh. God, it's just such a horrible buildup of... It's just dirt. It's just like dirt behind the ears that just builds up over a while. I don't know. I wish there was, like, some way I could, like, fill in these little holes, because it's just annoying, and every couple months I just gotta clean these out, you know? Anyway. But yeah, the Hereticum was very, very cool. The Veritas, again, very Indiana Jones. Like, here's this just like a book that, you know, people read it and then they die. So I assume then that the Veritas, like, somehow unlocks in the programming, basically. It unlocks, you know, their sentience, basically. I would imagine that's how that works. Like, that's the secret in the Veritas. So, of course, that does make me wonder, like, in the real world, is the Veritas still going to be something important, you know? I don't know. Man, this is such an interesting, like, episode, especially when you just go back and it's like, oh yeah, this was all simulation, and none of them were real. Like, it's not like, oh, they're in a simulation and they put the Doctor and Bill and Nardole and the TARDIS in the simulation. Like, well, no. Like, they literally just simulated the Doctor, Bill, Nardole, and the TARDIS, you know? They aren't the real ones. So that's really, really cool. Portals. Again, portals, you know, the thing about it is, you know, this is all, knowing that it's a simulation, you know, you kind of like some of the speculation that you might have during the episode is almost like thrown out the window. It's like, oh, here's all these portals to all these places, and it's like, no, it's, well, I mean, yes, but it's all in a simulation. It's not as, I don't want to say it's like not as cool, but I mean, like, the mystery of it is incredibly gone. That's the thing, is that for a part 1, a lot of the mystery is gone, and next episode seems like it's going to be a sort of run-of-the-mill Doctor Who invasion. Although I'm sure it's going to be good. They're probably going to put in some crazy twist or something, you know, crazy. Maybe the real Veritas will come back, you know? We don't know. We just do not know. So here's another thing. So, again, something that kind of doesn't have consequence now, but that's okay. When the Doctor kind of restarts his eyes, that was an interesting thing that he did. It's like, okay. Oh, excuse me. He's blind, and he needs to temporarily restore his eyesight. So he actually, like, I guess it slightly maybe taps into the regeneration energy or something, and heals his eyes long enough, but that would mean consequences down the road for his future regenerations. You know, he says, like, well, this will result in something, and he doesn't know what. You know, maybe all his future regenerations will be blind. Maybe he just won't regenerate again. Maybe, you know, maybe he'll drop dead in 20 minutes, you know? So that was really interesting, and I suppose that could... See, it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, you know, does that have consequences? And technically no, because that was the simulated Doctor doing that. You know, that wasn't actually him. So the real Doctor is not going to have those consequences unless he tries restoring his eyesight again, you know? I think I've got most of it now. Okay, I think this one's pretty clear. I'm going to try to finish up this side because it's still pretty gunky. Pour some water on these or something. So yeah, but I mean, it was such an interesting concept, you know, which it kind of reminds me of, like, you know, when the Doctor, you know, there's multiple instances where it's like, you know, when the Doctor gives Davros some of his energy, you know, some of his regeneration energy, or when he, like, healed River's arm, and you know, that was a little like, oh, you shouldn't just use regeneration energy like that, you know, or there was another one where it was the 10th Doctor. It was in the first Cyberman 2-parter, where, you know, he gives his own energy to this little thing in the TARDIS, and he's just like, I just gave away 10 years of my life. And it's like, okay, well, does that mean 10 years of the 10th Doctor's life, or 10 years of his overall life? And how do you measure that? Like, you know, it's just an interesting, like, little concept. I guess it's sort of like that, where it's like, well, there's not actually a ton of consequences here. Like, you know, we're not gonna, like, you know, 10 Doctors down the road, he's just gonna die, and it's like, oh, I should have lived 10 more years, but I gave up that energy to the little ring pop in the other universe. Like, I don't think that's exactly going to come up, but it's just an interesting concept, you know? But yeah, holograms. It was all a simulation. It's just the Matrix, man. The Wachowskis. If the Wachowskis wrote this would be 5 hours long, and I would have no answers. So, not to diss on the Wachowskis. They've made some great movies, and they've also made shit like Jupiter Ascending. But And, you know, the Matrix sequels and stuff. Again, not to super diss on the Wachowskis, you know, but anyway. But it's all a simulation. It's like the Matrix. Which is interesting. Again, because again, also, at first I was like, oh, okay, so it's just a simulation, so they just gotta get out of this and the day will be saved. And it's like, well, no, because they are simulated in there. Which I'm at least glad for Bill, because that means she didn't blow that date, you know? Which, okay, if the Pope runs in... if the Pope runs in while you're on a date, like, I understand that's weird, but she, like, freaked the F out. Like, way hardcore. And it's like, that could be explained away, like, oh, that's just a crazy person, you know? It's just the guy next door who likes to dress up as the Pope. Granted, it's a weird sort of thing to have to explain, but I don't know. She really just like bolted. Granted, she was already kind of feeling nervous about just the date, you know. So I imagine she's like, I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions because I don't really have a point of reference for a date like that. I don't really have a point of reference for like, oh, it's uncomfortable on a date. But from what it sounded like, okay, this is just what I'm thinking. You know, this is just, you know, I guess I am making assumptions, but which the doctor said don't. So maybe I shouldn't. But it felt like it's like, okay, she's kind of uncomfortable. She doesn't really go on dates like this, you know. So, you know, Bill was trying to make her more comfortable, but then when the fucking Pope just walks out and starts yelling Italian at you, that's when you have to bolt. Which is not her fault, you know. That's more the doctor's fault. But luckily for Bill, that she didn't actually really botch that, and she could go and have an actual date with that girl. So hopefully. I also just love the idea that, so isn't it her foster mother, or just, I assume it's just her foster mother, but I don't really remember. All right, glasses are going back on. Okay, I had my glasses off so long that now my eyes are weird. Where was I? Did they say that was her foster mom? I'm pretty sure, because her mother died, so I would assume that was a foster mother, and apparently she just doesn't know that Bill is a lesbian, so that's weird. But I do like when it's like, oh, yeah, I don't want you bringing any guys home, and it's like, well, that's not going to be a problem. And it's like, oh, it's a girl. It's like, oh, well, you two have fun. It's like, does she not realize? Like, okay. I just heard something, like someone just like dropped something outside. Probably just a squirrel. Anyway. Conquer, this is all simulation. Not Conquer's Bad Fur Day, which is also a simulation, but not this type of simulation. But the whole thing of like, oh, this is a simulation of how to conquer the Earth. Like, okay, well, that's interesting. And it's like, yeah, but the problem is you simulated the Doctor, and the Doctor, not only did the Doctor figure out the Veritas and figure out the simulation, but then he emailed the real Doctor all that he knew. That way he would be informed and could actually stand a chance against this invasion. That is very clever. It's like, even the simulated Doctor can still beat you. That is crazy. And yeah, he just emailed everything. Because, yeah, I'd completely forgotten about that he started watching, like, this recording, you know? He started watching, like, this recording, and then that is what's at the end, is him, you know, finishing the recording. It's like, oh, now I know everything, and now I can get to work. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, something is coming. Some sort of alien invasion. And that's the thing, is that with how interesting this episode is, like, I hope they kind of keep this up for this invasion. I don't want it to just be some normal, you know... And granted, Doctor Who invasions are great, But I do want something like as weird and sort of maybe challenging as this was, you know? Like something just strange. I guess just sort of the Indiana Jones vibe that I kind of got from it. Like, okay, you know, this, you know, the Hereticum and the Pope and, you know, the Veritas. Like, I still kind of want all of that, you know? Just now in the real world. So, we'll have to see. We'll definitely have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This was a really, really great episode, and I'm very curious to see... oh, God. Very curious to see where we're going next time and how Missy is going to factor into all this. So yeah, that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Doctor Who reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.